Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Knape Vogt BK-1599-Z and then length. This happens to be a 5-foot piece. It's actually what they call 63-inch. And that's not unusual for this to be longer than the opening like that because, well, you'll trim it to size, but also it's very possible that you're going to have some hardware that needs to reside in here, perhaps a snubber that requires greater length. It might be a, you know, thinking it's a pocket application. You'll want the track longer because there will be hardware up in here. But as box track, you know, this is just going to be typical sliding material, perforated in the back with a keyhole type prep. I'm sure there's a technical name for this. I don't know what it is, but it's perforated in the back, likely roll formed, and again, it's made of steel. Available in lots of different lengths. Now, what are you going to use this for? Before we talk about that, let's talk about the dimensional properties. Again, the length is as you need it. Overall height of the track, I'd say 1 1/16. Overall width of the track, looks like it's about 1 3/8. And then another dimension I'd like to take. I do get asked the question, what is the center to center of where the wheels would ride? You know, so in the bottom of the V profile. So I'm going to give you an idea of what that is, just for the sake of archiving it. It's 1 inch. That center to center is 1 inch, 0.997. So it's 1 inch. Oh, the other dimension is how thick is the track, and again, it's made of steel. A lot of track is made of aluminum for this sort of application, but steel is available. It's less expensive than aluminum. .030, so 30,000ths of an inch, so a 32nd of an inch thick, or half of 1/16, or whatever. 16 gauge is about a 16th, .065 or something like that. So this is about half of that in thickness. I don't know what gauge that would be. You'd have to look up what .03 is in terms of gauge. I don't know. Let's look. What's 22 gauge? Yeah, 22 gauge is 1/32 of an inch, so that's what this is. It's 22 gauge is what it is. Some sort of a, I don't know that I'd call it spangled, but it could be. This is clearly galvanized of some type. Spangled is what old garbage cans look like in the 1970s. This does appear to be of a spangle type galvanized finish. Now, what are you going to use this for? Let's talk about that now. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. Okay, so the Knape Vogt BK-1599-Z. That's it's a sliding door track. It's steel door track. This is rated for 50-pound doors that can handle 3/4 to 1 3/4 thick. That all pertains to the hardware that we'll show you in a moment. But this is going to be used on bifolding doors, and it can certainly be used on just sliding or pocket door applications as well. It all depends on how you equip this with the hardware. If this is going to be a 5.0, a 4-panel, 5.0 wide bifold, super easy. You're going to have a track at the top. You'll have a pivot set on the outside of each of those 4 panels. The outside panels will have a pivot set. The interior 2 panels at their leading edge will have hangers. You'll have bifold door aligners. You will have a snubber. You may have a snubber. I don't think you'll have a snubber installed to compress it closed. That's what the aligners will. The aligners will keep the doors together. is what they'll do. If it's a pocket door application, you're going to have a couple of hangers. You'll have a stop, or a snubber is what we call it. It's just a piece of rubber that's installed in the track, so when the door, comes closing, it hits the rubber and doesn't, fall out of the track itself. So let's switch to the screen view, and we'll take a look at the extended description of this item, and we'll take a look at the variations of what's available as well. If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it. Okay, so here is a typical BK 1599-Z, and when we search that in the site, it comes up just in different lengths and in different quantities that it's available in. So we'll just park ourselves on the 63-inch model that I happen to have on my desk. 63-inch steel box track for 4 doors. Yeah, so they're assuming that this is being used in bifold. So you would, if you had a 5-foot wide opening, you wouldn't do that generally as 2 panels. You would do it as 4. You could do a bifold as 2 panels, but each of those panels are going to be pretty wide. They'll be 2'6" or 30-inch doors, so that's awfully wide. So you'd have 4 doors in that. And this thickness is based on the hardware. There's a note here: bifolding sliding door hardware can be purchased by ordering the tracks and parts bags separately. Choose the correct track length and choose the correct part bag based on the number of panels. Installation instructions are in the parts bags and included. So different tracks are here. Different hardware sets are here. Snugger, it's what I was calling a snubber or a stop. Other items. So what I'd like to do is go through these. And this is just a track video, but obviously you're going to use this with hardware. So let's assuming that you're using it with the 4 door. So it's a parts bag for a bifold, 50-pound, 4 panels. Well, here's that parts bag that would go with this. And in this picture, this pixelated picture shows you everything. Hangers, hinges, all the screws, aligners, the wrench for adjusting, the bottom pivot, bottom pivot assembly right here, the top pivot assembly here, the mounting brackets for the hangers, the snubbers are here, knobs are here for bifold, and typical bifold hardware, so it's all there. You may not know off the top of your head everything that's included, but you get pretty good at it once you study what's happening. Let's look at track types, and that's not the page we're on, so let's stay on that page. Different track types that Knape Vogt offers or offered. Obviously, this is the steel track that we're looking at. Okay. I believe it's possibly going to take different hardware because roll forming is likely what they do here. Extruding is likely what they do on aluminum. You can use aluminum guide channel at the bottom if you wanted to for your bifolds. It's atypical with bifolds, but it could be done, I suppose. Then we've got instructions, and this is going to be as if you were installing an entire bifold. I pointed out to you only to show you where that document is. Obviously, we're dealing with F track. You know, the keyhole perforations, I don't know that it needs to be a keyhole. It might be really nice to be able to drill all your holes, run your screws in, and then slide your track down and tighten it up. But generally, just a single hole is really all you need. Well, and actually, the perforation has that as well. So clearly, whoever is making this track is using it for something else, would be my guess. But you do have holes drilled about every foot or so down the length of it. So you can go through the rest of the instructions if you like. But page 1 does indicate all of the hardware that's included, and this track being just one of those parts. Door weight table. Okay. Yeah, so just a guideline in terms of what things weigh. So if you're dealing with 1 3/8 thick doors, hollow core, 2 pounds per foot, yeah, pretty typical. Yeah, I don't see solid core wood here. That's going to be closer to, probably 5 pounds a foot, something heavier than that. Now, there's a link below this video, as seen here, to the manufacturer's page, and I would like to show you the link to the sliding door product catalog. Now, this document is extremely handy because it gives you in a very concise view an approach to bifold, bypass, and pocket door applications, and they have pocket door frames here as well. But if you get into the BIF 50S, which is what we're dealing with on page 14, we know it's a bifold, 50 pounds, an S for steel track. It's on page 14. And here we go, page 14. So in this series of application and weight of door, you will find all of the listed components. And part of that is going to be, of course, the track. So we're dealing with a 5-foot long track. Okay. They actually don't have that listed here. It would be a 4D-5 is what it would be. But on the... As we continued through the section, here are all the lengths of track required. And obviously be mindful, don't cut this on your carbide tipped sliding compound miter box saw. This will have to be cut using something for steel. Aluminum tracks, that would be okay to cut that way. But it appears to me that there are not different hardware packages depending on the base material. So zinc or aluminum track will take the same hardware sets. A 2-door hardware set is obviously for 2 panels, and then 4-door is here. Okay, if you know the name Knape Vogt at all, you probably don't for sliding, bifold, or pocket door hardware. You probably do for drawer slides would be my guess, and this is the link to the core product catalog, their typical material. If you, again, know that name, you probably do for drawer slides, because that's, I know Knape Vogt for drawer slides and standards and pilasters is what I know them as a manufacturer of. Let's wrap up this video on camera. If you've made it this far into this video, you must be determined to see it through to the end, and we appreciate your hanging in there with us and watching this entire video. It means a lot. It takes a lot of work to create these videos in the sense that, you know, it's time taken away from doing other things. However, the advantage for me personally of creating these videos is the fact that it does allow myself to either learn about something new, to reacquaint myself with something, or to reinforce what I believe that I already know. Any comments that you might leave down below would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Okay, in conclusion, we've got the dimensions laid out. If you have any questions on the Knape Vogt BK-1599-Z, I'm going to say zinc is what that stands for. The zinc coating, I would imagine, for corrosion resistance. Or any other Knape Vogt product, please feel free to reach out to us. My experience with Knape Vogt has been one more like a sine wave. They go through periods of exceptional responsiveness, and we're currently in that period right now. There's a gentleman at the factory who's territorial manager for this part of the United States, and he's extremely responsive. Now, why do I mention that? Well, I mention it because it matters, meaning you don't need one of these, you need 1,000 of these. What's the cost? What's the lead time? Having someone at the factory who actually responds is really important. There are times when you're not buying a piece of commodity sliding or bifolding door track like this. You're buying the company behind it and how they operate themselves. And Knape Vogt of late has been exceptional. So to them and to that gentleman in particular, for that I say thank you. Any questions on this or any other Knape Vogt? V-O-T-E is how it sounds like it's pronounced, even though it's spelled odd to me, but Knape Vogt is how I think it's pronounced. Thank you very much. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.